Hey, beautiful. Sit down for a second because I need to tell you something that's going to change everything. How many times has someone told you that you're too much, too emotional, too needy, too dramatic, too sensitive, too demanding, too intense, too everything? And how many times did you believe them? How many times did you try to shrink yourself down, tone it down, calm it down, just to make someone else comfortable? Well, I'm here to tell you something nobody else will. You're not too much. He's too little. You're not too emotional. He's emotionally unavailable. You're not too demanding. He's just not man enough to meet reasonable expectations. Today, I'm talking to the woman who's been told her whole life that she needs to be chill, that she needs to be the cool girl who doesn't ask for too much, who doesn't get upset when he disappears for days, who doesn't mind when he keeps his dating apps, who's okay with breadcrumbs and calls it a full meal. I'm talking to you if you've ever apologized for having feelings, if you've ever made yourself smaller so he could feel bigger, if you've ever wondered if maybe you really are asking for too much when all you wanted was basic respect. Listen to me carefully. There is nothing wrong with having standards. There is nothing wrong with wanting consistency. There is nothing wrong with expecting the person who says he loves you to actually show up like he loves you. But here's what happened. You met a narcissist. And narcissists are masters at making you believe that your normal human needs are character flaws. They take your strength and twist it into weakness. They take your depth and call it drama. They take your intuition and call it paranoia. They love strong women because breaking you down feels like a bigger win. They specifically target women who have their shit together because controlling you makes them feel powerful. You weren't chosen because you were broken. You were chosen because you were whole, and he wanted to break you. American culture sets us up perfectly for this. We're told to be independent, but not too independent. Strong, but not too strong. Confident, but not intimidating. We're supposed to be everything while asking for nothing. We're supposed to be grateful for the bare minimum and call it feminism. And when you finally realize you're not getting what you need, when you start speaking up, when you start asking for more, he flips the script. Suddenly, you're high maintenance. You're crazy. You're just like his psycho ex. You need therapy. You're toxic. You're abusive. But here's the truth nobody talks about. A man who truly loves you will never make you feel like you're too much. He'll make you feel like you're exactly enough. He won't try to dim your light. He'll want to see you shine brighter. The right man won't be intimidated by your success. He won't feel threatened by your friendships. He won't get angry when you have boundaries. He won't disappear when you need emotional support. You've been convinced that asking for love means you're needy, that expecting honesty means you're controlling, that wanting consistency means you're crazy. But you know what's actually crazy? Accepting less than you deserve and calling it love. Let's talk about how this programming started, because this didn't begin with him. This began way before you ever met him. Think about it. When you were a little girl showing big emotions, what did they tell you? Inside voice. Calm down. Don't be so dramatic. Boys don't like girls who are too emotional. You're being too sensitive. When you got excited about something, when you showed passion, when you took up space, someone told you to tone it down, to be more ladylike, to not be so intense, to be more like the easygoing girls that everyone seemed to prefer. In middle school, you learned that being chill got you more attention, that being the girl who didn't care, who didn't get jealous, who was up for anything, made you popular. You learned that having standards made you high maintenance. By high school, you'd mastered the art of being the cool girl. You laughed when he flirted with other girls. You didn't get upset when he forgot your birthday. You were understanding when he canceled plans last minute. You were proud of being low drama. College taught you to be independent. Get your own career, make your own money, don't need a man. But somehow, when you were in relationships, you still felt like you had to shrink. You still felt like your needs were too much. Social media made it worse. You saw these women in perfect relationships with men who seemed amazing. You didn't see the behind the scenes. You didn't see her crying herself to sleep. You didn't see him treating her like garbage when nobody was watching. You compared your reality to everyone else's highlight reel, and you wondered why you couldn't just be happy with what you had, why you always wanted more, why you couldn't just be grateful. Dating apps trained you to expect less. Ghosting became normal. Breadcrumbing became acceptable. Having 3 different conversations going at once became standard. Commitment became something you had to earn instead of something that was freely given. You lowered your standards without even realizing it. You accepted behavior that your grandmother would have slapped a man for. You called it modern dating and convinced yourself you were being realistic. Then he came along, and he seemed different. He love-bombed you in the beginning, made you feel special, made you feel chosen, made you feel like finally someone appreciated everything about you. But slowly, subtly, he started the conditioning. Little comments here and there. You're being a little dramatic, don't you think? My ex used to get upset about stuff like this too. I've never met someone who needs so much reassurance. And because you'd been primed your whole life to believe that being too much was a character flaw, you started adjusting. You started shrinking. You started apologizing for having needs. You stopped asking where he was when he disappeared. You stopped questioning the inconsistencies in his stories. You stopped bringing up things that bothered you because you didn't want to be that girl. But here's what you need to understand. The problem was never that you were too much. The problem was that you were with someone who was committed to giving you too little. And you can't shrink yourself small enough to make a small man feel big. Here's the thing about narcissists. They don't go after weak women. That's not fun for them. They go after strong, successful, independent women because breaking you feels like a bigger accomplishment. He studied you, he learned what you valued, and then he used every single strength you had against you. You're independent? He'll disappear for days, and when you get upset, he'll say, "I thought you were independent. Why are you being so clingy?" He'll make your self-sufficiency mean you shouldn't need anything from him. You're successful? He'll undermine your achievements, make little comments about how your job is easy or how you only got promoted because you're a woman. He'll make you feel guilty for working late or traveling for business. He'll act like your success threatens him, then blame you for making him feel small. You're empathetic? He'll trauma dump on you constantly, but when you need emotional support, he's nowhere to be found. He'll tell you sob stories about his childhood, his ex, his job, his family, and when you try to fix him, he'll resent you for it. You're loyal? He'll push every boundary you have, then act shocked when you finally reach your limit. He'll say, "I thought you loved me unconditionally. I guess I was wrong." He'll make your loyalty mean accepting whatever treatment he dishes out. You're communicative? He'll twist every conversation into an argument. You'll try to have calm, rational discussions about relationship issues, and somehow you'll end up apologizing for bringing them up. He'll make you feel like talking about problems means you're creating problems. You're passionate? He'll call you dramatic. He'll roll his eyes when you get excited about something. He'll make fun of your interests. He'll act like your enthusiasm is embarrassing or childish. He'll train you to be smaller, quieter, less alive. You're intuitive? He'll gaslight you into doubting your own instincts. When you sense something is off, he'll have a perfectly reasonable explanation. When you feel like he's lying, he'll make you feel crazy for not trusting him. He'll condition you to stop listening to your gut. You have standards? He'll make you feel like you're asking for too much. He'll compare you to other women who are easier to please. He'll make you feel guilty for wanting honesty, consistency, respect, effort. Basic human decency becomes unrealistic expectations. American women are especially vulnerable to this because we've been told we can have it all, but we should also be grateful for whatever we get. We're supposed to be strong, but not so strong that we intimidate men. We're supposed to be independent, but not so independent that we don't need them. We're caught in this impossible contradiction. We're told to know our worth, but we're also told not to be too picky. We're told to have standards, but we're also told to be understanding. We're told to speak up, but we're also told not to be confrontational. The narcissist exploits this contradiction. He makes you feel like every normal expectation is evidence that you're difficult. Every boundary is proof that you're high maintenance. Every feeling is confirmation that you're too emotional. But here's the truth. You're not too emotional. You're in relationship with someone who's emotionally bankrupt. You're not too demanding. You're with someone who doesn't want to meet even basic demands. You're not too much. You're with someone who's offering too little and hoping you won't notice. Okay, beautiful. Now we get to the good part. How do you get yourself back? How do you unlearn years of conditioning that taught you to be smaller? How do you remember who you were before he convinced you that you were broken? First thing, stop apologizing for taking up space. Stop saying sorry for having needs. Stop prefacing every request with, I know this might be too much, but your needs are not too much. Your feelings are not too much. You are not too much. Start practicing saying what you want without justification. Instead of, I'm sorry, I know you're busy, but would it be okay if maybe we could spend some time together? Try, I'd like to spend time with you tonight. Period. No explanation needed, no apology required. Second, reconnect with your intuition. You've been trained to doubt your gut, but your instincts are your superpower. When something feels off, it probably is. When someone's words don't match their actions, trust what you see, not what you hear. Start small. Pay attention to how people make you feel. If you feel drained after spending time with someone, that's information. If you feel anxious when your phone rings and it's him, that's information. If you feel like you're walking on eggshells, that's information. Your body keeps the score, even when your mind tries to rationalize away red flags. Third, set boundaries and stick to them. I know this feels scary because you've been told that boundaries make you difficult. But boundaries aren't walls, they're property lines. They tell people how to treat you. I don't accept being yelled at. I don't continue conversations when someone is disrespectful. I don't lend money to people who haven't paid me back. I don't give second chances to people who lie to me. You don't need to explain your boundaries. You don't need to justify them. You just need to enforce them. Fourth, remember who you were before he made you doubt yourself. What did you love? What excited you? What made you feel alive? Go back to those things. Reconnect with the parts of yourself he told you were too much. If you love dancing, dance. If you were ambitious, be ambitious. If you were social, be social. If you were passionate about causes, get involved again. Stop dimming your light to make insecure people comfortable. Fifth, surround yourself with people who celebrate you, not tolerate you. The right people will never make you feel like you're too much. They'll make you feel like you're exactly what they've been looking for. Pay attention to how different people make you feel. Some people bring out your best self. Others make you feel like you need to perform or hide parts of yourself. Choose the people who make you feel free to be fully yourself. Sixth, trust that you deserve better. Not someday when you're perfect, not when you've worked on yourself enough, not when you've learned to need less. Right now, exactly as you are, you deserve to be loved completely. You deserve someone who shows up consistently, who communicates clearly, who respects your boundaries, who celebrates your success, who supports your dreams, who loves your intensity instead of trying to dim it, stop accepting less and calling it gratitude. Stop settling for crumbs and calling it realistic. You're not asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong person. Let me paint you a picture of what love actually looks like. Not the Hollywood version, not the toxic version you've been accepting. Real love. Real love doesn't make you question your sanity. It doesn't make you feel crazy for having normal human reactions to abnormal treatment. Real love makes you feel more like yourself, not less. Real love shows up consistently. It doesn't disappear for days without explanation. It doesn't leave you wondering where you stand. It doesn't keep you guessing about feelings or intentions. Real love is clear, direct, and reliable. Real love celebrates your success instead of feeling threatened by it. It cheers you on when you get promoted. It supports your goals even when they're inconvenient. It wants you to shine brighter, not dimmer. Real love respects your boundaries without making you feel guilty for having them. It doesn't try to negotiate your non-negotiables. It doesn't make you feel like asking for basic respect is asking for too much. Real love communicates. It talks through problems instead of shutting down. It takes responsibility instead of deflecting blame. It apologizes when it's wrong and means it. It doesn't make you walk on eggshells or decode mixed messages. Real love makes you feel safe. Safe to be vulnerable. Safe to share your feelings. Safe to take up space. Safe to be fully yourself without fear of rejection or retaliation. This isn't fantasy. This isn't asking for too much. This is the bare minimum of what love should feel like. And if you've never experienced this, it's not because you don't deserve it. It's because you've been settling for counterfeits. American women have been conditioned to believe that having standards makes us difficult, that wanting effort makes us high maintenance, that expecting consistency makes us unrealistic. But you know what's actually unrealistic? Thinking that someone who truly loves you would make you feel like shit about yourself. You don't need to earn love by being easier. You don't need to prove your worth by accepting less. You don't need to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's comfort zone. The right person for you will not be intimidated by your standards. They'll be inspired by them. They won't see your boundaries as obstacles. They'll see them as guidelines for how to love you better. Stop dating potential. Stop dating projects. Stop dating people who make you feel like you need to convince them to choose you. The right person will choose you over and over again without you having to ask. Your new standard is simple. Does this person make me feel more like myself or less like myself? Do I feel energized after spending time with them or drained? Do I feel celebrated or tolerated? Do I feel chosen or like I'm competing? Trust your answers. Honor your feelings. Believe that you deserve to feel absolutely adored by someone who knows exactly who you are and loves every bit of it. You're not too much for the right person. You're not too emotional for someone who's emotionally available. You're not too demanding for someone who wants to meet your needs. You're exactly enough for someone who's enough for you. Stop settling for less than you give. Stop accepting part-time love for full-time energy. You deserve someone who matches your energy, who meets your effort, who loves you as loudly as you love them. And that person exists. But first, you have to stop giving your spot to people who don't deserve it. Listen, gorgeous, you are not too much. You never were. You were just with people who were too little to handle everything you are. Drop a comment and tell me, what's one thing you used to apologize for that you're not going to apologize for anymore? I read every single comment, and I love celebrating your wins with you. And if you know a woman who needs to hear this message, share this video with her. Sometimes we're the voice someone needs to hear to remember who they really are. You've got this. I believe in you.